I'm Philip Joss and this is Buckingham News. A recent spate of serious accidents around Buckingham have been drawing more and more criticism towards both the quality of driving and of the roads. As pressure on the council increases, Dan Morris investigates what they are doing to prevent more needless injuries on the streets of Buckingham.
The death of a friend or relative on Britain's roads is always a tragic and needless loss. Last year in the UK, there were just under 2,000 road deaths, and although vehicle safety is improving, serious accidents on Buckingham's roads still take place with worrying frequency.
In the last 2 months, there are at least 2 serious collisions here on West Street, caused by the width of the road and speeding drivers. There have also been 2 further collisions on the A421 bypass that left one driver with life-changing injuries.
The state of the roads have drawn concern from civilians and councillors alike.
So I think it's about motorists being aware themselves and we're all taking responsibility for their actions. The council can't be in everybody's home. What it can do has a duty of care to see that the highway is of a safe for the road conditions for vehicles to go on.
The brutal reality of these statistics came to fruition last week when Dave East, a motorcyclist, was taken to Milton Keynes Hospital after a serious traffic collision that resulted in a broken back in 2 places, a fractured neck, 2 broken wrists, 2 broken legs, and a broken shoulder.
How does this affect you and your family?
People I don't know have opened up a GoFundMe to help me out with getting petrol money, feeding the boys, keeping a roof over our heads. There's people I don't even know. Just because everybody gets affected by something in a road accident at some stage in their lives. And I just think, people have to be made aware of it. I mean, I'm very lucky, the boys are very lucky, he's coming home. He's in one piece, but a lot of motorbikers aren't.
While the responsibility of maintaining the quality of the county's roads lies with the Transport for Bucks and Bucks County Council, it is Road Safety GB who educates drivers about driving responsibly.
Fatalities and serious injuries and slight injuries, in fact, have been on a nice downward trend. In more recent years, since 2013, there has been a little upturn in those casualty figures.
So while authorities continue to urge drivers to cut their speed across the county, any major new measures on Buckingham's roads will take time to work. We can only hope that the town does not see another tragedy on the roads. This is Dan Morris of Buckingham News.
Last week, the NUS announced that 12 universities would have new feminist societies come September. This comes as the National Union of Students announced new guidelines for safe spaces for minorities to be introduced in British universities. In spite of all this, the University of Buckingham still lacks a feminist society. Kashia Adegbite reports.
The feminist movement has been gathering speed in British universities, with feminist societies and workshops springing up around the country.
The NUS also recently announced a safe spaces policy, encouraging universities to have spaces in which minorities such as women be fully self-expressed, free from feeling uncomfortable, unwelcome, or unsafe.
The news also comes after plans for a men's society were blocked at Durham earlier this year. But how do Buckingham students feel about the lack of a feminist society at their university? And is feminism still relevant today?
In Buckingham, I think everybody generally gets a fair chance in terms of good grades, in terms of probably equal pay.
I've been in this university for almost 3 years now, and I've not really noticed anything concerning women's rights not being observed. So I don't really think it's necessary in this university.
For me personally, I don't actually agree with feminism. I'm quite an old-time woman who agrees that women should be at home with the kids in the kitchen and also have a career on the side, but I'm not really all for women power.
Well, I think women do have the right to express themselves in whatever way they deem, and I think it's important for women to have a voice.
So it appears that while some students agree with the concept of feminism, there are variant opinions as to whether the University of Buckingham should have a feminist society. This is Hasha Digbite reporting for Buckingham News.
High street shopping on Sundays is often quite limited, with closing times earlier than the rest of the week. But this might change if local councils are given the go-ahead by the government to decide which areas should be exempt from the current law. Henry Thompson reports.
Under the Sunday Trading Act, high street stores of over 3,000 square feet are only allowed to stay open on Sundays for a 6-hour period and must remain closed on Easter Sunday and Christmas Day. The law, which was passed in 1994, is being seen as outdated by many, particularly residents who wish to shop at times to suit their lifestyle. In Buckingham, this includes Waitrose, Tesco, Aldi and the Nursery Gardening Centre. When speaking to the Nursery's Gardening Centre, they highlighted that a few extra hours on a Sunday would give more flexibility to shoppers and increase the need for staff. Many people who work in the week find that Sunday shopping fits in with their lifestyle, but sometimes it can turn into a hectic ordeal.
I find myself always hungry on a Sunday and I can't go anywhere and get food and really satisfy my cravings for food, Sunday, especially Sunday night. But I think it would totally benefit the local economy if, things were open on Sundays.
Of course, that's up to them. But basically, it doesn't matter to me.
For my own preference, I would rather there was no Sunday opening. I think Sunday should be a day of peace for everybody.
Well, I agree with it. I think if we want to shop, we should be allowed to shop whenever we want. And if people want to work Sundays, they can. If they don't, they don't have to.
Although high street stores are a minority to Buckingham, the possibility of prolonged Sunday hours would clearly be beneficial to customers who won't have to hurry out of bed on their Sunday lie-in. This is Henry Thompson for Buckingham News.
In other news, the University of Buckingham has managed to hold its title of having the highest student satisfaction rate in British universities according to this year's National Student Survey results. This is the 6th year in a row that the university has been awarded this title, with 95% student satisfaction. Earlier this week, the council was informed by residents that Borton Park had been the target of vandalism that is thought to have been caused by dogs. At least 5 trees have had considerable damage on them, and the park's zip wire has since been replaced by the council. Recent building work behind Morton Road has revealed the shell of an old Victorian summer house. A statement from the Buckingham Society revealed that the building used to belong to Castle House. The plan is for the summer house to be renovated and be used as a cycle store for residents of the town. Britain currently has a massive Labour surplus, with multiple candidates applying for each position. With this news, candidates are increasingly looking for ways to separate themselves from the pack. However, a recent study showed that employers are increasingly looking for soft skills as opposed to plump CVs. Zoe Briggs has the story.
The job market in this country is increasingly saturated, and graduates are looking for ways to differentiate themselves from the pack.
I think it's a mixture of both. Skills that are picked up during their courses, transferable skills of teamwork and communication skills, for example, and also skills picked up maybe during work experience.
One school of thinking is that graduates require hard skills and should focus on professional experience and software skills.
I've been telling my students just recently, and I'm teaching finalist students at the moment, that the CV gets you in the door, so your qualifications in particular, and obviously we're at a university and student degrees important to that.
Another school of thinking is that soft skills such as personality, interview skills and leadership qualities are important.
I think at university we try and encourage students to develop some of these softer skills, such as communication, obviously presentation skills, but ultimately there is only so much we can teach the student.
A recent study showed that universities and businesses are increasingly looking for soft skills in candidates rather than hard skills. But how do Buckingham's businesses feel about this change?
First impressions always count. People walk through the door, look at you, see how you are, see how you interact with them, and the best way to do that is just be on friendly terms, ask, give them any advice that they need.
It seems as though soft skills are most sought after, as first impressions count more than anything. This is Zoe Briggs for Buckingham News.
On Friday, the Men in Sheds group had their weekly meeting in the shed at the Code behind the Woolpack pub in town. The Men in Sheds community is a non-profit organisation that originated in Australia to advise and improve the overall well-being of all males. We sent Soma to here to check out their backyard.
Men in Sheds is a community service which enables men to learn new skills and hone existing ones by working on projects such as woodworking. The service launched in November 2012 and aims to provide an outlook for men who have experienced life-changing events.
Currently, the group are focusing on their woodworking and have been making birdhouses and hedgehog boxes. What made you start this up in Buckingham?
It was identified by community practice workers who said that there are a lot of men in the Buckingham area that are looking to do something kind of like social and activity based. Guys that spend a lot of time at home and have skills and they like to learn new skills.
Do you think this is helpful?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I've joined, I'm a fairly new member, but we're all retired people.
Men in Sheds are always looking for new members, so if you're interested, head to Shed behind the wall. This is Soma here with Buckingham News.
And now over to sports with Dolly Akitoye.
Thank you, Philip. Aunt Sally might sound like your favorite family member, famous for her hot crisp buns, but Aunt Sally is in fact a unique game that is played in many pubs across Oxfordshire. This mysterious sport sparked an interest among Buckingham News, and so Scott Stanley went to Oxford to check it out.
Every Wednesday in pubs across the Oxfordshire County, a game with centuries worth of history is played competitively by the local pub's punters. Exclusive to Oxfordshire, the game is called Aunt Sally, and some say its origins go back as far as the 17th century.
The villagers of tiny Drayton St Leonard bless his Eton and Oxford education, whose culture surely showed the way to running an Aunt Sally alley.
In the modern and updated version of the game, teams of 8 partake in trying to knock a doll off a steel pole. If the doll is knocked off, the player scores a point. Each turn is called a leg. Whoever has the highest score at the end of the third leg wins the game. After the 3 legs are done, the players play a beer leg. Whoever loses that round buys the winning team around.
We first started out playing Aunt Sally because we came out on a Wednesday night to break up the working week. So when we came down, sat down in the pub having a beer and saw these guys, the older guys playing, and we joined in.
The centuries-old game is believed to have its origins in Victorian England. However, the exact origins of the game remain somewhat of a mystery. One account suggests it comes from a game known as cock throwing, when each player would throw knives at a live rooster held up by its hands and legs until it died. When roosters and knives were short of hand, players found using sticks and dolls as appropriate substitutes.
If you're interested in like horseshoes or cornhole or washers game, you know, like back in the States, it's a good pub game, it's a good backyard game. I would recommend it to anyone that likes to play those kind of games.
Well, tonight's game will prove that small towns and their traditions can withstand the test of time. This is Scott Stanley, Buckingham News.
As football kicked off all across the country this month, Buckingham Town FC had their first game of the new season. Hoping to improve the last year's somewhat disappointing outcome, the boys headed out ready to get stuck in, but the game only resulted in a very frustrated manager.
Buckingham Town played against Nottinghamshire's newly promoted Oakham United on August 1st, but disappointingly they came to a crushing defeat at 5-2. Heading into the lead with an impressive header within the first 2 minutes by Durberton's Court Weymouth, Buckingham FC began with the hopeful start of coming home victorious. Dan Dowderfield scored Town's second goal, but the optimism was quickly shattered as Oakham became the dominant side, scoring a total of 5 goals. The embarrassing defeat was decided by 2 late goals from Lewis Lecky and Stuart Lambie. This certainly was not the way Town wanted to start their United Counties League Division 1 campaign. The team can only hope for vast improvement.
We've played 2 league games now, we've lost both of them. In between those 2 games we did have a cup win against Russian Diamonds where we won the cup, so morale is still high.
According to Robson, they were also missing 4 key players and their absence may have decreased the quality of the performance.
We got a league game Saturday which we are looking to pick up points from, looking to win, so there's no need to panic here, and hopefully Saturday we can go and get a result and everything's forgotten about.
Perhaps Buckingham Town can up its game for the remainder of the season. Without a doubt, the team's hopes will not be shattered and their coach anticipating a return to form.
This is Karen Yogwe, Buckingham News.
And now, back to the studio.
A local student from Gorkot has put her passion for music to good use. Her YouTube channel Macatones aims to teach young people with learning disabilities how to sign along to their favourite Disney songs using the sign language Macaton. Is her initiative pitch perfect, or will it all fall flat? Elliot Beverley has the story.
Samantha Harper studies humanities and music at the Open University and has a grade 8 qualification in 2 instruments. In her spare time, she teaches piano, flute and saxophone lessons, but her latest venture has been to teach Macaton online.
Unlike traditional sign language, Macaton uses a combination of gestures and graphic symbols and follows a sentence structure more aligned with a spoken word.
It was designed for people who struggle to communicate, so it has to be easy. It's essentially acting out the words you're saying. Once you know the signs in a song, then Macatones is as simple as learning a dance routine. Other forms of sign language use their words in a different order to the spoken language, while Macaton uses the same order. In fact, it was designed to be used alongside speech. I started making videos to entertain my little sisters and also to teach them anything that they might not have learnt yet. And then I realised if I uploaded the videos onto YouTube, I could share them with someone who might be interested. If you want to learn a new language, learn Macaton.
Samantha plans to continue releasing more Disney sign-along videos alongside her studies and instrument lessons. For more, head to Macatone's YouTube channel. This is Elliot Beverley, Buckingham News.
A recent study in China has shown that spicy foods are linked to longer life. Chili peppers can help reduce the risk of death from heart disease and cancer. We sent Rabiata Baboy to find out what really is the spice of life.
The British Medical Journal has shown that regularly eating spicy foods can increase the length of your life by 14% after studying 500,000 Chinese people over the course of 7 years. But for some, heat can be too much to handle, so we're going to show you how to prepare a traditional but simple korma curry.
You'll need 500 grams of chicken fillet, 300 ml of double cream, 1 small onion, korma curry paste, olive oil, rice to serve with. Heat up the oil over a medium heat and then add the onions. Then add the diced chicken and cook until it is golden. Add the curry paste and cook for a further 2 minutes.
For extra spice, you can add chili powder.
Stir in the cream and allow to simmer for 10 to 15 minutes until the sauce thickens. Serve on a bed of cooked rice.
And there you have it, a delicious, quick and apparently healthy chicken korma. It's really good. This is Rabiata Baboy reporting for Buckingham News.
Thank you for watching Buckingham News. We'll see you next week.